Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over my second round game from the 2024 Midwest Open. If you didn't see my first round game review, I did end up losing that game, but it was against the #1 seeded player at the event, so maybe that was a little expected. But moving into the second round game, playing somebody my rank, so hopefully it's a more close game. Although again, my main goal for this event was to play games that I was happy with. So without further ado, let's jump right in. We get a little unorthodox opening. Crosscut opening itself isn't unorthodox, but having a 3-3 mixed in might be a little bit. Black fixes here. And so I approach here, and I felt very comfortable with this because I'm able to not only just extend like this, but help the corner or protect the corner while helping the lower 3 white stones, lower left. But it turns out after the game, Black was also very comfortable with this kind of opening. So it's a game that's interesting because both sides are very comfortable with how the game was developing, which you very rarely see. So Black approaches, and in most cases I would do this and let Black go here because I would be confident in my ability to still reduce the right side if I have to, but in this game I just decided to split. So Black, of course, jumps in, takes the corner. Yes, this is all normal. And then slides. And here, I go elsewhere. This move might feel natural and might feel big. My thinking was, even if I block, Black can still attack the lower left and invade the bottom. So we can see there's no real points here in this variation. If I help the lower left though, then Black can still just push and reduce my bottom side anyway. So I was viewing the bottom side as not that valuable. In fact, if Black wanted to like push here, this would just be helping me. So yeah, that's why I went elsewhere, even though this move might feel very natural to play. So I extend here. The extension here as well, while it's not the biggest side, right? Obviously here I'm just fighting over 5 spaces, whereas the upper side and left side are clearly more. There is still AGA with R8. Like if I go elsewhere, there's AGA with R8, threatening to cut or threatening to S7. And so Black getting a stone like here would almost be Sente because of this follow-up here. We can see this starts to attack the R10 stone while also looking to cut, while also looking to connect under. So I wanted to prevent that, so that's why I went here, even though it's not the biggest side. So Black takes the top and then extend along the left side, or help my upper left by extending along the left side, and then Black pulls back. And again, so far here, both sides are playing the styles they like. My opponent really likes territory. And when their opponent gets a moil, like we're going to see in this game, he likes to invade and live. That's how he likes to play. For me, I like when my opponent doesn't have a large area and they just have like territories around, and I can be the one to make kind of the big moyos. So in this game, even though the left side might look bigger, and it is bigger, whenever you have this lower left, it makes the side that the lower left joseki is connected to a lot smaller, a lot harder to build. So even though the top side looks smaller, it's harder to build the left side. So that's why I still played up top. Plus, as opposed to just a normal invasion, I'm really not forcing Black to, but I'm almost asking Black, okay, Black, are you really going to take the points up there? If you don't, then I'm going to split you, or I'm going to take the outside. So that's the idea with this move. So Black comes up. This makes sense. Pushing here really gives me good shape. And Black doesn't really have a great follow-up after this. Black stands up. I jump. Black wedges, Atari, and then how to fix. And I did spend a decent amount of time on this. And the idea is, the whole point of this is to stay light. I'm not caring about every stone here, especially not the N16 stone. But even if I just connect, now all of a sudden I am invested in the M15 stone and the N14 stone, but maybe I don't want to be. But even by fixing like this, well, black will peep. And again, I'm heavy all of a sudden because now all my stones are connected. So in the game, that's how I decided on this move, where directly this is actually a ladder. This ladder, if I read it correctly during the game, goes to my stones, which it does. So that's good there. And if black wants to cut here, it's like black is not gaining that much on the top if black were to do this. And if black switches this way, like my stones here are very solid, very strong. I could start to really play a cosmic style here and I'd be very comfortable with this. So that's the idea with this move. So now black comes in. And this kind of move is very difficult to answer because one, by itself, you know, there's so many different options. You could cap in any of the 4 directions. You could shoulder hit. You could ignore. And the second reason why is whenever you have a moyo like this, I can guarantee you've never seen another moyo like this in another game. So you can't even draw from other games, other experience to know where to play next. So it's all about looking for follow-ups. So just for example, in the game I went here, right? The idea being, if black goes elsewhere, which black does, I am threatening to block here next, right? And this, we can see, is perfect shape and lets me fix this cut, and so I don't have to worry about this cut at all. But what else is this stone doing? Well, if I do go from another direction, maybe black can switch directions and attack the lower left. And even if I jump out, we can see black stones are now all working together. Remember, stones that are on the same lines have a good connection. And I don't mean connection like share liberties. I mean they're in good communications with each other. So these stones of blacks, while very light, are communicating very well. So I didn't want to see this either. So this is preventing a less severe attack, or it's preventing a severe attack on these 3 stones, while also looking to block at N2. So black goes elsewhere. And again, what I like about this game is both sides are very good at taking care of their groups. So again, this move is looking to not only protect this cut, but also help the 3 stones. And black notices, okay, well, I have to help this stone now. So black does. But what's the idea with this move? Well, this is ever so slightly starting to surround the right side. Imagine I go elsewhere, maybe black plays here, and I do something and something like this. All of a sudden, my top side could get surrounded. So in the game, I play here. And by itself, this is a big move because it does keep black from connecting. Now, by itself, if there is nothing else on the board, this would be the move you want to play to connect your groups as black. You might think, well, why don't you cut? Well, the idea is, even if this happens, you're gaining ever so slightly more, but white gets a lot of thickness on the outside. But beyond that, this move is now a forcing move. So now maybe white can start with other moves nearby, because white can maybe Atari here, or maybe in some cases Atari this way, depending on how the game's developing. So that's why black doesn't want to necessarily cut there. So black should just go here. Obviously, though, in this case, white would maybe pincer here, and again, this 1 stone here is very cramped. So black is not only helping the center stone, but also ever so slightly putting pressure on the upper white stones. So black, so I shoulder hit, black blocks, and here this may be black's first questionable move is this jump. So maybe black doesn't want to do this fight. Black's worried about this cut here, and there's some worry about it. But after this Hane and connect, white has a lot of weaknesses in white's shape. Like one, white can't even surround because black can just cut. And there's no way now, because of how low on liberties these stones are, there's no way for white to get a good result. Just say that. This is double Atari. There's nothing's good here for white. And that's why it's important to Hane at the head of 2 stones. Notice, especially here, both sides have the potential to Hane at the head of 2 stones. So assuming white has to fix, though, I don't even know how you would fix. Because if you fix by going here, black can now save the upper side anytime with this cut, right? And in fact, black connects. If you fix by going here, there's still AGA of this cut. So it's just very uncomfortable for white. So I think black should definitely Hane here. If black didn't want to Hane, black should at least stand up. Because the difference is, when black goes here, notice I get to hit the head of the 2 stones. And even though black can Atari, and it's not as bad, my 2 stones have 0 cuts. Black's 2 stones plus these stones here have cuts now, whereas my 4 stones do not. So if anything, black should just stand up. And even if I stand up again. Now there's no weakness in black's shape. Because black got gote anyways. So I think this is slightly worse for black. In fact, we'll see this weakness come into play later. So I jump again, keeping black separated. So black, okay, now my 2 stones are weak. So black jumps. And the key thing about this move is that it's not directly sente. If I do something else entirely, when black cuts, I can just poke here. And there's too many weaknesses for black. If black blocks, this is sente. Black obviously can't Hane. Black has to stand up. Still can't Hane. Still can't Hane. And obviously we can see here the 2 stones get surrounded. So if black can connect, then I can connect. So I'm still connected. That's the key. And so in the game, I jump here. There we go. And the idea is, this is again starting to make black's base in the center uncomfortable, and I'm starting to connect up my stones as well. But the key is, like, even if I break the shape by going here, black's going to attach. And again, stones that are on the same line have a good communication. So if I Hane, these stones have a very good communication with each other because they're all on the same line. Like, all of a sudden, black has a pretty comfortable shape here in the center. So to keep black uncomfortable, I jump. And again, I'm not doing anything crazy to try to split black or anything like this, right? I'm just threatening to split black. And in the process, strengthening my own stones. So what about this move here? What is a move, let's say white goes elsewhere again, what is a move that helps black's shape? If white goes elsewhere, how would you fix black's shape? Because we see black has an elephant eye here. Well, if you guessed this move, then you would be correct. This move basically gives black an eye, is an attachment, and just really helps black a lot in making black's stones here comfortable. And so even if I pull back, all of a sudden black has very good shape in this group here. And I wanted to play this move, because again, this is a very nice shape point. And as a little side, I don't even want to say tangent, but just a little side note, this is how shape knowledge is so valuable. Is this move is not just looking at, okay, I'm destroying the dog face. What else is it looking at? So let's go to a shape that all of you have hopefully seen because it's pretty common. Let's say I descend, right, and black pulls back. Obviously, white can jump in. But the question is, why are we not concerned with this as black? Like, if we were worried about this invasion, why wouldn't we play something like this to prevent it? Well, the idea is we have a nice follow-up. So when you have this 3-space knights move, the large knights, what is the follow-up here? You can attach here and start to connect. So what this means is this move here, whether it's on the side, the corner, or in the center, this is a nice move to get. So you should be looking out for this in your games. So when people say shape knowledge, they're not just talking about, do you know about bamboo joints? Do you know about tiger's mouths? Do you know about table shapes, right? What the list goes on of like standard shapes. It's about knowing these kind of, because these shapes don't have a name, right? But they're more like joseki shapes, if that makes sense. Or sequence shapes. I don't know what you want to call them. But if they work here, they most likely work somewhere else. And if you can understand that and you can internalize that, that's going to go a long way. So let's look at the game again. So in the game, I really wanted to play this. Why? Because if black goes elsewhere, notice I have made a large knights, a 3 space large knights move. And so if black goes elsewhere, I can attach here. And we can see if black hanes and maybe goes here, I can squeeze and separate black. And separate black. And so if black has to fix by doing something like this, all of a sudden, I'm still threatening to cut off these 2 stones. If black does this, black's shape now is much worse. But the question is, how can black fix? Black can fix by still playing the same attachment. And if I try to separate, again, this is the shape I would like to get. Black and hane and Atari, and we can see this would just be disastrous for white. Obviously, getting squeezed here does not accomplish much. So, because black can fix by going here, or fix by going here, I mean, this move isn't that valuable. Or it's not as valuable as preventing black from getting this move. So the question is, how can I prevent black from playing that move? Well, obviously, just take. So then the next question is, where do you think black plays? Black plays here because black has that understanding of, okay, well now, when white goes here, now it's still threatening that attachment. But now I don't have a nice way of fixing by playing at O10. So now black would have to play some uncomfortable move to fix. And the other nice thing about this move as well is it's threatening some sort of move here. Right? Elephant eye. So both sides, and I told Sungsoo after the game too, like, I like how he plays because his game is very shape-oriented. A lot of people my rank, their game is all about fighting, right? And shape goes out the window. Who cares about shape? But I also like to think about shape. That's why I play a move like this. And clearly Sungsoo as well. So this is why, as the game was developing, I was like, oh yeah, this is my kind of game. I'm very excited for this because this move just screams, I understand shape, which I really like. I really like. Yeah. So black plays here to prevent this move. Okay, so black goes there, and then I finally, remember this move here? I finally got my follow-up down here. And black does need to extend up to make sure you're alive. You go elsewhere, I can clamp, and the corner can live still, but obviously this would be very, if all this is sente, that's very painful. So if you can prevent it in sente, may as well. And then black cuts, and then I have to connect, of course, and then black jumps. And again, this is a very nice way to fix the weakness here, because there's still an elephant eye weakness here. If black goes elsewhere, if I poke, assuming black tries to save everything, we can just see, like, black's in a lot of danger here. But black doesn't want to play a move like this because this is a very inefficient way of fixing. So how does this fix the weakness? Well, when white goes here, black can, do you see the move? Black can fix by going here. So again, this tells me Sungsoo's shape is so good. It's so good. Is black can fix by going here. We can see when white push, black's already fixed this cut. And that is what a lot of benefit from reading is playing moves in advance. So if black goes elsewhere, I imagined white has already done this. But obviously white's not going to do this only if it works. So let's say white does this and then goes elsewhere. How would I fix now? I could fix by going here. I could fix by going here. I could fix by going here. So these would be much more efficient ways of fixing, maybe even this one. So that's why black's probably considering, okay, I could do this one. I could fix by going here. I could fix by going here, right? And if white blocks, then black can still connect. So then the next question is, what is the best way to do that? So in this case, obviously this is a little strange shape. And this is a little strange as well, so this is the most efficient way. So yeah, very, very nice shape. And not that... so first I peep. Again, this is just an asking move. Obviously black's going to block in this case, but not always. Maybe later black might connect here if the board has changed. And again, I'm not going to cut, but I have created the AGA of cutting. So that's the idea. So now I extend here. So this move is fine, but this is where I maybe blundered ever so slightly, because remember when black cut here? All I was viewing that as, oh, black is cutting off my 2 stones. But obviously there are 2 sides to each cut. So what that means is my bottom side also got cut. So when black plays here, I knew that, yes, whenever black plays on the bottom, it's going to be hurting my 3 stones. But in this case, I did not realize, oh, black is also hurting my lower right group. And even if I can maybe connect by going here, which I don't think I can, because after black plays this one, there's a cut here that starts to work. But even if I could do this, like obviously this kind of results would already be good enough for black. Black has reduced me down to the second line. So yeah, so after this, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about my bottom side group. Now thankfully, it's not the end of the world because black is still weak on the right center. So when I play moves like this, black has to be careful. But this move was even better than I thought, and we'll get to that in a second. So I play here, obviously, keeping black separated, and again, if it comes down to it, I will sacrifice these 3 stones in order to attack the center somehow. So black pulls back because black knows if black hanes, black still needs to fix, and this pushes me towards black's weak group. So black just jumps. Even though I can break the shape, that's not what black's looking at. Because black jumps again. Again, black's shape is so good. And then this is where I get a little creative. So in my mind, this was a key spot. Because I still get cut. And this kind of semi was hard to read. I'll just be 100% honest. I wasn't sure about, like, could I live? Could I not live? Because in this case, I'm now not just sacrificing 3 stones. I'm sacrificing more stones. So now I kind of needed to save the 3. And if I pushed and then clamped, because again, H3 is the key spot. Well, black will connect. I have to block here. And then I get cut anyways. So in the game I play, it looks weird, but I figured this was the key spot. I go here, saying, okay, black, if you connect. Now when I cut, notice black doesn't get that key spot at H3. And if black stands up, then I can connect. And even if black plays here, I'm not going to make this exchange, right? Because that's what this is. I push and then clamp. It's like I made that push, right? It's like I made this push, which doesn't help me. I can just block. And if black tries to push and cut now, the difference is now I can squeeze and connect. And this semi is a lot easier to read because black now has does not have as many outside liberties. So yeah, it should be good. So I play here. But it, again, turns out I can just like push here or like push here. But going back to this move, we will now see the real reason for this move is after I play this one, black cuts. And this was just something I was just not even considering. After this, after I had played this knight's move here and then descended, I was like, okay, that cut is fixed. No questions asked, right? But I kind of got lazy here and didn't even consider that, oh, this is actually a ladder breaker. Because when black cuts, this becomes an Atari, right? And if I have to fix, then I get captured. And so this is where I first thought for a long time. Again, this is Fisher time, which means like you can use your time really how you want. Like if you want to play quickly in the opening, you get a benefit for that because you build up time to use later. And so I wasn't playing super quickly, but I was, moving my way through the opening, let's say. But once this happened, this is when I first used a lot of time. Because there's a lot of decisions here. Obviously, this was out of the question, giving up these 4 stones, because one, it still leaves a cut here that works. And these 4 stones are what's keeping black separated in the center. So if anything, I'm thinking, okay, I have to sacrifice. But then I'm thinking, what's the best way? Because I can do this, which threatens, or I could do this, which also threatens. But regardless, notice I have to fix here as well. And so if black can just capture these 2 stones, all in Sente, that's very painful. So I was thinking for a while, I was like, did I really mess up this much? And I'm thinking, I'm reading. And then I was like, hold on a second. does this work? And this is where you need to be creative and not think so, what do I want to say, like in the box when you're reading. Because if you view this as Sente, like I'm in Atari, I have to connect, then that's all you're going to read. You're not going to be considering anything else. But imagine, what if this is not Sente? Because right now, black still has 2 liberties. So what happens is, I Atari here. And the idea is, if black takes Atari, Atari, and block, black still has 2 liberties. And if black tries to get more liberties, this is just a squeeze, like this. So that doesn't work. So what's the craziest thing about this is my fancy move that was unnecessary was fixing a problem that I didn't even know existed. Because the fact I played here, like if I had done this one, then now I don't get that squeeze anymore. Right? Now black has enough liberties. Actually, what's the way? Well, it'll change the next variation. Maybe not this one, because I can still clamp here. But it'll change the next variation we see. Sorry, I jumped ahead there a little bit. Of what black should have done. So in the game, black took, and this just doesn't work. This is just a blunder. But black can at least do this one. Right? And if I have to cover, black takes, and then black can cut, and we get a ko here. Like this. And what's basically going to happen, assuming we play correctly, is I'm going to lose these 4 stones. Basically. So cover, go here. I have 1 local threat. Black could consider ignoring, but the corner is so huge. And even if black can get something in the center, it's quite over-concentrated actually in the center. Because the thing you have to keep in mind, and yes, black is getting something on the bottom, but remember, in exchange, I was getting things on the left side. So even if black gets something like this, then I got what I want on the left side. And yeah, white takes the entire lower right, which is quite big, and this is good for white. So black answers, go here. Black will cut or do something, but then I'll take, and something like this will happen, where black will end up capturing the 5 stones. But again, my profit was I got something on the left side. And this is still favorable for white. But at least this is slightly better, or not even slightly better. This is better than in the game, because at least black gained something from this. In the game, when black just takes, this again isn't even a ko. This is just I capture. So yeah, this was just a huge blunder. Up until this point, the game's pretty even. But yeah, after this, white has a pretty strong lead at this point. But yeah, looking at the ko variation, where black, instead of taking, connects, again, I have to play here, but then black can make a bamboo joint like this. Or even just take once and then bamboo. And yeah, black has a lot more liberties. Now the ko is a lot harder for white to win. So H3 ends up being the key spot for this cut by accident, which is kind of miraculous and kind of funny, but yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, so at this point, Sungsoo realized, oh, that doesn't work, so he switches directions to the left side, which makes sense. It's the final spot that something could happen. So I peep. This is to see if I end up sacrificing these, black might play differently. So I peep now. And cap. Stand up. And then again, Sungsoo's shape is so good here. And when I was looking at it, maybe this will work. But this is very dangerous. Again, when you have a comfortable lead after the bottom, you don't want to do anything that's very risky. So after this is if I play here, Atari, now the ladder works is the idea. So I wanted some preparation before I did that. So that's why I cut and black connects, and then I stood up. And the idea is, well, I'm threatening to connect now. So if black prevents that, then when I play here, now I've already fixed this cut at E14 and there's no problems. But black smartly goes here. And I was like, what is bigger? Because I could go here. And potentially black could take the left side in exchange for me taking the upper side. This is probably still okay for white, but I did want to... I ended up deciding to save these stones. So I play here. This is a shape point, threatening to cut. Black pulls back, Hane. And I think it's possible for me to just cut here, because if black connects, then black has problems on the left side. If black squeezes, which is what black probably would have done, black has to come back and connect. And now I can play this diagonal to connect these cutting stones. Black will have to live. And all of a sudden, I've cut off the center stones, which is quite huge. So this is possible as well. This probably still is good for white. So I think I should have considered this. In the game, though, I didn't want to get squeezed. So that's why instead I Hane here. And even after the Hane, I wonder if I can... now black can't squeeze me, because now this is an Atari. So I wonder if I should definitely do that instead. Yeah. After this, I should definitely push here, I think. But I covered... it was one of those things where I saw this, and that was the only thing I considered. Where, okay, I can Hane, and if black Ataris, I can squeeze like this. And then turn. Now black fixes, and then I jump. But all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I have a weak group in the center? All of a sudden, a weak heavy group in the center. The nice thing is, black is so flimsy here that it's going to be hard to really attack white severely, and we'll see that. Black pulls up, obviously that's Sente, and then attaches. Usually this attach is kind of crazy, like you wouldn't want to touch these stones that have more liberties. Or potentially more liberties, but in this case it's the belly of the two stones. So if I try to like push through here, we can see, oh, black's threatening to capture in one move. So that's why black can attach here. But I know what black's thinking, so I go here. And again, this move is if black goes elsewhere, I can cut, and now I'm threatening, even if black squeezes, I'm threatening to cut here. And yeah, even if black can... well, black actually can't gain anything on the bottom because black gets squeezed. And there's a cut here black needs to fix. And I can poke here, and black's getting cut up everywhere. So that's why black just simply connects. I peep. I did not want to see... I wanted to get this move, but I did not want to see this kind of like shape-breaking move by black. So I did this peep, even if it meant black could start to capture these stones. This move doesn't directly capture because I can technically still pull out like this, but... I figured, okay, even if I lose a little bit, as long as I'm alive here in the center, I'm okay. So I kick here, protect that, so stand up. So now black needs to worry about the left side as well. So then when I play here to disconnect, black's like, oh, I got to worry about these stones, so black Hanes. This Hane is nice because it also captures the two. If you do this one, when I stand up, your shape is still pretty bad. So it's nice that black can do both here. Which makes me think I should do this once, right? Yeah. This is Sente. So I definitely missed a chance there to at least play this once. And if black turns, then I can play this kind of move. Play there, though. And when I peep here, it might look weird, but black takes. Black does need to be worried about living in the center, actually. Plus, by itself, me saving like here is quite a big move. The nice thing, though, is I can... how do you fix the weakness down here? And remember, you want to think about efficiency, because this move, it fixes the weakness, but it's single purpose. So in the game, I play this, technically Tiger's Mouth, but this diagonal, because it's protected this cut here, but what else is it threatening? It's threatening to Hane later, and even Hane again. So it's very nice endgame. So that's why I'm actually not sure black wants to do that per se, but the other issue for black is black's also worried about just kind of cut like this at some point. Again, while the board stands, white can't do that, but that's what black is also a little worried about. So peep and then bamboo joint. So even I connect and Sente. So I was very happy with that. So play here, sure. And then Hane, black Ataris. Connect, just squeezing black down, and then connect back. Yep. So now I'm connecting. I'm making some points there. Black slides, and now we're in endgame. I get this move. This is a very nice move, which allows me to get this move in Sente, which helps my group here in the center and make some points. Black would like to just connect to prevent this move from bringing Sente, but if black does that, then I can double peep here and black's left side gets cut off. This was a nice little sequence. Just as, especially in endgame, just these little pushes like this can mean a lot. Especially if it's Sente. Like, black cannot go here because black loses the center, or even better, loses the left side. So looking for these ever so slight end games, because even by doing this move becomes Sente, and all of a sudden I can reduce black down to no points on the left side if I get this follow-up later. So yeah, it's quite a big, looking for these, instead of just answering your opponent's move that might look Sente, really try to find your own Sente. So I get my follow-up, speaking of own Sente. And again, black says, okay, I'm behind. I need to make something happen. So I Hane. And then I play a move that might look a little strange. I play here. Which, yes, looks a little strange. But so the question is, why did I ignore? Isn't it big enough just to do this? Well, if I do this, then black fixes and has reduced me successfully. And even if I can cut, I have to fix here again. And black gets some nice end game here, I feel. Like, my shape is pretty bad here all of a sudden. And I didn't like that. So I didn't want to cut necessarily. Plus, this would be just going after just one stone. Potentially, I would like to be able to cut here. So this is what I'm looking at. But if we play this out, black can cut. Obviously, I'm not going to extend here because those get captured. So I'll save here. And I could block by going here, but this would be a huge ko. This would be a flower ko for black. Because it's not just black capturing the 3 stones. Black has the follow-up of capturing the 4 stones next, because S11 threatens to capture. So I have to really play here, but then black gets this move in Sente. And very obviously threatening to cut, and then can play here. And all of a sudden, black's connected. I can't cut. And even though I get this squeeze like this is a big reduction for black. So my move, the idea with my move is if black answers, we'll play the same exact sequence. Notice now when black tries to connect, I can cut. Because this move was preemptively fixing my cutting stone here at Q9. So this is the power of reading, is being able to visualize the board a few moves ahead, decide what moves do I need to make something work, and then playing accordingly. And by itself, this move is not Sente, but it does have big endgame. It has big endgame associated with it. So for example, if black could just take like this, I'm going to cut though, and then poke here. And if black blocks, this cut is also Sente. Or even if I want, there's a ko shape here, where if black hanes, I can connect and black's cut off. If black does this, this is the ko. Because again, even after this, I can connect. So we'll get this ko. Again, this is kind of a flower ko for me because I don't really lose too much for losing this. Plus a lot of local threats in the lower right. Yeah, and if black connects, then I can just connect. And yeah, I can just connect. And it's close, but I have enough liberties to win this semi-I here. So yeah. So it is also big because it threatens the 4 stones. Black goes here. So the idea with this move is black figures this isn't enough just to do this. So black is actually looking to squeeze out a few extra points because black's trying to threaten the upper side. But I poke here. I'm saying I can still connect. Black descends. And the other thing as well, count the amount of eyes this group has here. Count the number of eyes. Black has to be very careful. If black just goes back and maybe attacks the top, black has to be worried about this kind of move where if black just blocks, black's dead here actually. This whole group can't make another eye. If black descends, then white can push. And if something like this happens, I can go here. Oops. Here. And make this kind of... If I can do this... Yeah, so the idea is this move is actually Sente against here. Yes, because if black fixes there, I can wedge next. And potentially cut off black. But basically, it's... Even this move starts to really hurt. So there's a lot of bad AGA here, basically. Even if black can potentially attack the top. So that's why black simply just blocks. But I'm able to cut. Black cuts. Cover. And now black's forced to connect. And then I can descend. And the idea is I get this move anytime for free. So I can descend and not have to worry about this cut. Right? Yes. With this move Sente, there's no way for black to connect back. So black just connects. I cut here. And this cut is also, this now has cut off the 4 stones. And again, I'm alive in the upper side. Black squeezes there. I play here and then connects. And this was weird. Maybe black figured Sente was more valuable. Because black can make all the points up top. But by going here, I can Hane once. And even attach here. This attachment is huge. Because with all the AGA here, it doesn't work because I have these 2 extra liberties. But as soon as 1 liberty is taken away and I go elsewhere, cut, play here, even though, sorry, I forgot to make this exchange. Even though, like this, now I am captured. Because after this move, notice I do not have enough liberties. Black just captures me. Before, because I have that extra liberty, when black cuts me, I can cut here and I don't get captured, right? So that's the whole idea. So black used up that cutting AGA though, because after this, I can attach. And this is huge, because not only do I still have 2 liberties, I have 3 liberties now even. Black needs to connect in Gote. So that was quite huge. I need to connect though. I think I need to connect to live. It was also just a safe move to play. Black covers. Peep, Hane. This is a nice move, by the way. It looks very strange. But trust me, this is the best move for black because any other move that might look better, like this move looks like better shape, I get to force black to have to fill again because now it threatens to double Atari at c3. So notice black has to fill twice. Same thing if you fill here. I will push and then play here. And you need to fix this cut here. And you might think, well, I can go here once, and if white connects, I don't need a fix. That would be true, but white can descend first, and if you cut, I can connect under. So obviously, even if you do this, I have now reduced you by a lot. So just to prevent all of that, we can see now, once you go here, and I play here, now you don't need to answer. So again, this is what separates the good players from the great players, is finding these just little tiny ways to save points is so valuable. It's so valuable. But not valuable enough to come back, because after this, black resigned because white is roughly ahead by a little under 20 points at this stage. So black resigned. But yeah, very fun game. And it is, again, even though I won, my main goal was, of course, to play games I was happy with. So this game I was definitely happy with. And yeah, feeling pretty good as well. Because again, even though I lost my first round game, I was still happy with how I was playing. So yeah, pretty pleased with this game. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know. And I'll see you all in the next video.